then we'll go for this content and thematic analysis. So yes, I was asking from all of you, what do you understand by this content? Any previous knowledge which you guys have on this content analysis? Any one of you, Dr. Pranav? Any
maybe the analysis which is largely dependent on the content which you have got, actually, maybe.
Okay, fair enough. So basically this content analysis, most commonly it is done for the, like we were discussing on day one, on that whatever data already is available, like social media. So content which is already available on the social media, like Twitter account, if you want to analyze on some issue, you may take up some issue. Content is software based. No, it's not true, Pragya. Content analysis is software is needed. Yes, it is true, but content analysis can also be done manually, and thematic analysis also done by software. So software can do both the things, content as well as thematic. So basically content analysis, there are is the analyzing the existing content. Content may be of a transcript, but usually content analysis is done if there is already published content. Like you can analyze, I said on day one also, there many a times these political parties, they do the content analysis of how the vote is moving, how the people is giving the reaction to a particular move, how the people, like any policy is announced, like these days the recent policy, that is the increasing the minimum age of marriage for girls. Did you hear to this new law which is coming up? Okay, so there may be, like, people may be writing on Twitter, they are writing for this, maybe some pros, some cons, a lot of things. And if you want to analyze that, what is the people opinion, because already there is a content, you don't need to go and take interview for that. There are already people are writing big paragraphs over social media, like maybe the Facebook, maybe the WhatsApp. If there is a common group, maybe all of you have a common group, like your UG days, your PG days, current days. So you may start something, or already published content is there and you want to analyze that, then usually we do the content analysis. But again, this analysis can be done on interviews also, where you have actively gone and collected the data. So there are basically three types of content analysis. There is a conventional content analysis, there is a directed content analysis, and there is a summative content analysis. So see, these things are important for you, because once you review something or whether you write something, many of the researchers you will see that they write both content and thematic analysis as a blanket. Then you have to see in the result whether the concept which they have used or the word which they have used, is the article justifying that word or not. Because in day one, what was your opinion? All of you said that the way they have drafted the written the grounded theory or phenomenology, or they have written ethnography, you are confused. You are finding it like, there is some mismatch between what we read and what we are seeing. So similarly, you will find the same thing with this analysis also. Whatever they write, have they done or not? So this conventional content analysis, this is the analysis where the study starts with observation, or maybe already published contents are there. Codes are defined during data analysis, and codes are derived from the data. In directed content analysis, already there is a theory. So directed means already there are codes. So it is already defined before the data, and codes are derived from the relevant, already published content. And the summative content analysis, you search for the keywords. So keywords are justified before and during the data analysis process. Like in this case, how many you can search for the keywords for summative content analysis. Like you can see in all that Twitter account of people, how many of them are appreciating this. So you can search for those keywords, and ultimately you have to give a frequency table of this. So by in content analysis, we always give how many times that particular code is appearing. So we are a kind of some quantifying this qualitative analysis. Like in this case, you can see here, what can you see? Anyone? Can anyone summarize this? Please take few seconds, see this slide and tell me. Basically, you have to summarize the essence of this slide. Don't go into the numbers and adding up that numbers and all. Anyone? Priyanka?
So all the activities done by persons who are already suffering with dementia. This is summative, I think, summative data collected data, depending on the parent code and the child code.
Yes, you are right. And if you see in the bottom, the footnote, it is what it is writing. Number of times the theme appeared in the data. And the percentage represents the times a theme was coded in the data divided by the total number of caregiver respondents. So they are just quantifying it. So that table is also in the code frequency. I'll show you, this is there when you can generate a table of the codes or the category which is appearing. So when you represent your codes and categories in the form of numbers and percentages, then basically it is the content analysis. So you have to, the number, you don't have a value here. You don't have to add up the mild, moderate, severe and see whether the total response is equal to not. But again, only the meaning and the representation, which you can see here, it is important. Again, in this example, any other person? What can you see in this slide? Can you explain this slide? Who will do this? Please, some of you have to do this. Otherwise, we all will go off to sleep because I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
One of you, please do it for me.
Ma'am, this shows the number of times or the frequency of times a particular subtheme has come in that particular study. For example, addiction, it has been the frequency of repetition or the codes that has been repeated is around 50 times. So similarly, everything. And also they've mentioned it as percentage also.
Okay, very good.
Quantify that.
Very good. So you can see that this is like, they have done it in the decreasing order. The maximum frequency is at the top, and then in the decreasing order, they have categorized it. So it's basically the descriptive statistics. Yes, Haripriya is right. And normally we say that, in qualitative, there is no point or there should not be any place of quantitative analysis. But when you represent your codes in the form of frequency, then it is the content analysis. So if someone is writing content analysis, then immediately you should look for whether that person has given some frequency table of the codes or not. Because the content analysis means that you are classifying the content in the form of the frequency and percentages. Is it clear to all of you what is a content analysis? The process of coding sub-theme, that will be the same, that what we have discussed, but it's only giving it in the form of percentages. Then comes this is again, see this example, stress, coping and psychological resilience among physicians. And you can see here, like, continuing in spite of difficulty, 32% said this, toughening 12%, 13%, maintaining well-being and happiness, 32% said it. So if you don't give this figure, then it will be a simple, then it will be not a content analysis. Then it may be some thematic analysis. But the moment you quote these percentages, this becomes a content analysis. So if it is clear to you, I'll come to the thematic analysis. And I have told you that basically we do two types of analysis, content and thematic. In thematic analysis, we generate theme out of the category. So again, steps will be, you have to read the transcript, you have to make the codes, you have to club these codes, then make the category, then you will make the theme, and then you will name the theme. So this is the thematic analysis. You have themes, maybe you have got more than one themes, or you will use a centralized theme. So thematic analysis is widely used in qualitative descriptive, in grounded theory, both everywhere. And thematic work, this framework, it should be self-explanatory. Like you can see here, this person has done a thematic analysis. So he has given you like experiencing cancer pain. This was the main category. The title of the study was cancer-related pain in the older adults receiving palliative care, patient and family caregiver perspective. So theme, he has identified 3 themes: feeding cancer pain, reacting to cancer pain, and living with cancer pain. And again, the sub-themes like sensory aspect of pain, origin of pain, you can see how he has identified the sub-themes and then the description. So this is this pictorial, if you are presenting, this is a thematic analysis. This is again a burnout among healthcare workers, where the framework, the author has given a framework of thematic analysis from coding to theory building. Here you can see that there are basically issues like management issues. These codes are there, like evading responsibility, lack of management interest, or those things are there. I'm not going into the detail what is writing inside. I just want you to have a pictorial view of that theme. So you will find such themes in many of the articles which you read. So such thematic representation you can try out for your article, or whenever you plan to do a qualitative research. This is again a descriptive theme, sub-theme. This is again, thematic analysis. Again, example of thematic framework. So this was the 2 example of thematic and content analysis. So now it's the time for actual hands-on, and I'll depict. So we'll have 2 activities in this session. I will show you first how to open the QDA MinerLite, how to import the data, and how to add variable. Then we'll have one breakout room where you will import that file which has been shared to you. So all of you could see that shared file of transcript with which has been shared to you. Please type yes or no, because after this there is an activity.